Coming up on Tech News today, Hulu's got a new relationship with Fox Video that you're not going to like. Also, Mango Mania for Windows Phone 7 and maybe even BlackBerry OS 7. Wal-Mart enters the online video fray. And Pirates, great for customers. All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Is Tech News Today for Tuesday, July 26, 2011. Tech News Today brought to you by Slingbox, which just turned your iPad into a television. Slingbox introduces their new iPad apps, and now you can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you take it. Check it out at Best Buy or slingbox.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz, Akhtar.
I'm just Howell.
And we are doing our second show here at the new studios.
Ow!
Getting a little better every day.
Ow, that's a growing pain right
Thanks
there.
to everybody
Ow.
for putting up with our field test. We're going to borrow that from Google.
Yesterday was basically our first dress rehearsal, but we just did a real show.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So-
that's how we're just including you in it. Thanks for all the
Exactly.
feedback. We've got lots of folks sending us emails about what they thought, stuff on Twitter, both positive and critical. Positive, but good criticism. Let's start off today with some Windows rumors. For the guy who was complaining that we don't talk about Microsoft enough. Windows Phone development team officially signed off on the release to manufacturing of Mango today. So they've handed off the code to handset makers and operators for optimization of phone and network configurations. They say there's hundreds of feature improvements, but once folks are able to get their hands on it, they'll be able to actually post reviews of what's actually in the final version of Mango, because code is locked now.
Now, this is given to the manufacturers and the carriers, but that means it could take a really long time for the carriers to actually approve this, right? I mean, AT&T kind of dragged its feet on the last update on Windows Phone 7. Do you think this is going to come to market soon?
Well, they're still saying fall in the blog posting. They didn't change that. So
there was a tweet a while ago where Microsoft was looked like that got taken down. It looked like
about the September thing, right?
That Windows Phone 7 Mango would be available for certain finalists in some contest they were running. So I guess that might be the case.
I think it's, they're giving it RTM early or late July, almost August. It's going to be more than a month. I still think we're looking at October.
So probably holiday. I would
Yeah.
imagine you'll probably see some really interesting Windows Phone 7 devices.
Now, we might find out about that elusive Nokia phone that is supposed to be coming by the end of the year in a couple hours from our recording time. In fact, you might know about it already. Microsoft's going to hold a press conference at 10 a.m. Tokyo time, which is just about 2 hours from when we're recording this right now. Wind rumors were saying, yes, you will see Microsoft unveil a Windows Phone 7 Mango device. Live side, however, says it's not the Nokia. It's the Toshiba Fujitsu IS-12T.
So even if they introduce a phone, do you think it's going to give a lot of buzz around this thing? I mean, Windows Phone 7's been around for a while. Mango's been shown off. Is this the time to show something off and people get excited about it?
Well, because there are probably a couple features we didn't know about that'll be in this code-locked version. All they're doing is squashing bugs at this point, but so it probably will work a little better. And yeah, I mean, when you get to see the actual device, Sarah, don't you think that's more exciting when you say, like, this is real, this is the thing?
Absolutely. I'd love to see it.
Yeah? You seem skeptical.
No, I mean, I just, it's like we've talked a lot about this, and I just haven't been able to see it yet.
That was the other time we saw Windows Phone 7 devices. They're like, here they are. They're on a desk, and they turn on, and then they ran away from them. Microsoft when they showed it off last time. So maybe it'd be nice to actually show a nice demo of it working on a handset that you could buy soon.
Exactly.
Mozilla also getting into the mobile OS space. They announced today an experimental project called Boot to Gecko, B2G. It is an attempt to make a standards-based operating system that will initially be targeted at phones, although it won't be limited to that forever. It's going to start with existing code from Android and then layer on an interface and the Gecko rendering engine. In fact, they intend to use as little of the Android base as possible, but since Android already works on devices right now, they figure that's a good place to start. But unlike Android, they're going to release source code as it's developed. So as you know, there's always these complaints that Android is developed and developed and developed in secret, and then it's released to device makers. Sometimes it's released to one device maker before the others. This mobile operating system would actually continue to be released as it goes, so anybody could use it anytime.
As it stands, though, there's right now just a README file that's available. There's nothing out there published.
Well, yeah, they just announced it today, so if you go to the code repository, you're not going to find anything but the README. Although wiki.mozilla.org/b2g will give you a little more info about it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, another operating system coming out. I mean, if they're basically browser-based, couldn't you just run everything in a browser anyways? It's like a Chrome OS style kind of thing where the browser is the operating system. And if that's the case, couldn't you just use that with Safari or use your own version of Mozilla on an Android device? Why would you need?
Well, that's like saying, why couldn't you just use Chrome on a laptop instead of using
Yes,
Chrome?
That I don't understand either.
Chrome OS, it's lighter weight, it's more secure. I mean, it's easier to secure, and that's actually one of the things they're saying is they want to lock this down and make it secure. And they're saying, you know what, we want to find those gaps in the standard for mobile OSs and propose new standards so that we actually have a continuing standard for all of the mobile OS. Right now, there's stuff that even Android does that's kind of a proprietary, and maybe it's open source, but it's something that they just made up, and it's not a standard for everybody to use. Mozilla's saying, we want to expand the standard for mobile OS.
I still think it's very odd that they're even using any part of Android, because this is going to be built on part of Android, and that's been like hit with so many patent suits, or Google's been hit with patent suits based on Android.
They're using just the very basis of it.
To be safe, it seems like to use any of it.
But most of those patent lawsuits are around interface issues. So if you're totally doing the interface from scratch, hopefully you avoid.
Right, that's one. Like if you're gonna work that hard, to be free and clear of any litigation seems like a way to go. I mean, it's just, I think it's a little bit of a
Android OS at that level is open source. It's pretty tested. I haven't seen any patent cases going to that level of it, so they're probably pretty safe with that. Google's Bradley Horowitz, VP of Google Plus, stated on Google Plus that they're going to change the naming policies as soon as possible. Some of the things they're going to tweak, he says, is they will give users a warning and a chance to change their name rather than just suspending your Google Plus account. So if you sign up as Jimmy McFadden and your name's not Jimmy McFadden, they'll give you a chance to change it. Or
that doesn't
Dr.
really sound
Kiki.
like they're changing their naming policies. They're just giving you more of an option to use your real name, Dr. Kiki, which of course is what she goes by, but that's not her name on her birth certificate. Doesn't sound like they're saying, yeah, you'll be able to use Dr. Kiki. Maybe down the line that will all be okay.
Yeah, what they're saying
but at least she won't get her
instead of just suspending your account, from
no
now
reason.
on, we'll send you a note saying you got this amount of time to change your name. They're also saying you can add nicknames and maiden names to the other names portion of your user profile.
You are already allowed to do that, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
so they're
like
just
I put in
directing people
Momo
to
Lane,
do
which
that.
is like my AIM name on my other names area. I don't really see that as a solution for people who are like, I don't want to use my last name, or I go by Dr. Kiki. It's like you don't want to have it down in that little other names area, but it's better than nothing.
So here's where they get to possible policy changes, and it's nothing they're announcing today, but he says, please, this is a quote from Mr. Horowitz, please don't misconstrue the product as it exists today, less than 4 weeks since it's entering field trial, as the end state. In other words, they intend to provide a way for brands to have pages, like companies and like Ford and Mashable. They intend to have a way for people to use pseudonyms in an appropriate way. They intend to have a way for dissidents to be able to use it anonymously. But they say, we want to come up with the right policies to do this and not just have it be a hack. So give us time to develop that.
I think they completely have a point. I mean, Google Plus is really incredibly new. I mean, it's just over a month old. But it's also Google. And so no one really likes that excuse because you're like, you're a huge company, you've got so much money, you've been working on this however long, why can't it just be more perfect right out of the gate? So even though I think if they were a small startup with 10 people, everyone would be very understanding about this, it's almost impossible for Google to be like, listen, we're so pre-beta, there's kinks. We didn't know so many people would be interested. I mean, they had to know that a lot of people would be interested.
But I think they're just continuing to fight that battle of like, look, we're calling it a field test.
Issues are coming up that they hadn't thought of.
Because we're the company that turned beta into a joke word, so we changed it to field test.
And I think that they put a lot of emphasis on, well, what works for Facebook? Everyone uses their real names on Facebook, and Facebook doesn't like people to use pseudonyms, so we'll just do that too. And it just doesn't work the same way
So
here.
what I'm surprised with is the amount of feedback Google's actually giving. When something goes wrong, I mean, it used to be like, it would be into a black hole. You say, Google, this doesn't work, and then you'd get nothing.
Yeah.
And now they're actually posting, they're using their own service, they're putting it on Google Plus and saying, look, we're going to change this. This is going to be altered because the way we have it is wrong. I mean, I think Google's been very honest about saying, look, we don't really know what we're doing. We tried social before, and nobody really liked Buzz, or nobody's using Orkut. So if we're going to do this and we're going to make it public, we're going to make it perfect. And right now,
And it's not public, remember, it's private.
Right, it's still a field test. So, I mean, like, I like the fact they're willing to say, look, we did it wrong. We're going to do it over. The other thing is they're going to want celebrities, and they have stage names.
Right.
Theoretically, they can't ever be on this.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah,
the
Violet
singer
Blue is even
Iyaz,
that.
for example,
Yeah,
not his
Kedrian
real
Jones,
name.
he has to put up Kedrian Jones.
Finally, Horowitz said, it is a myth that not abiding by the Google Plus common name policy can lead to wholesale suspension of one's entire Google account. So there have been lots of anecdotes, people out there saying, my entire Google account got suspended because of my Google Plus violation. He's saying that's not true. Let people know it's absolutely not true. So what's causing these people to say it? Are they violating some other acceptable use policy and getting their entire account suspended? I mean, this is the problem with Google just sending out these sort of vague notices where people don't really know what they did wrong.
There are definitely people that we know of who have said, I didn't use a conventional naming policy and my account was suspended.
Your Google Plus account suspended.
Right.
But not Gmail and Google Docs and everything else, right?
Exactly. But you will lose access to Google Reader, for example.
Because it's tied to your profile.
Right. So it's, I mean, it can still be very uncool.
All right, let's take a quick break and thank our sponsor, Slingbox. Let me tell you, if you want to be able to watch your TV your way everywhere you go, there really is only one answer. Slingbox introduces their new iPad app, which makes it even better. But they've got iPhone, they've got Android, they've got lots of ways, including your laptop, to watch your television over the internet without paying anything extra. You buy a Slingbox, you hook it up to your internet, you hook it up to your television, and then you can stream your channels legally to yourself anywhere in the world that you have an internet connection. Watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you take it. Slip that iPad in your bag and you're watching everything that's on your DVR, all the channels you subscribe to, anything you get over the air, anything that comes to your TV, things that you've recorded months ago you can rewatch over the Slingbox. Check it out at slingbox.com/twit. Slingbox in your home TV, now appearing on iPads everywhere. Let's get into a story about Wal-Mart. You wouldn't think that we'd be covering Wal-Mart.
Yeah, what's so tech about them, Tom?
Well, let me take you back 18 months,
All right.
Sarah. Remember
Tell
where you
your
were
tale.
18 months ago?
Ooh, life was different then.
I was at CNET. That was a long time ago. Walmart bought Vudu 18 months ago. And Vudu is one of the competitors to iTunes, to Amazon Video on Demand, and to Netflix and Hulu in some ways.
That's
as well.
VUDU.
That's right. Their big thing was they had high-definition content before anyone else had high-definition content. It looked really good.
Yeah.
Now, they have had this service available on Vudu.com, VUDU.com, but today Walmart, who owns them, added the service to Walmart.com. So that adds in, 40 million monthly visitors who can now access the rentals and the purchases of online videos. Rentals are $1 to $6. Purchases start about $5. They are on 300 consumer electronics products, which means you can buy it on Walmart.com, then watch it on your PS3, watch it on your Blu-ray player, stuff, just the same kind of widget ecosystem that Netflix has.
Although it doesn't, I mean, you can't get it on a Roku. I have a TV that has a nice Netflix widget that won't work with Vudu. So, I mean, it's going to work for some people, but I think the system of which you can play movies is a little bit
Well, you can always
smaller.
find some device that doesn't have one of these apps.
The thing is,
Definitely.
Walmart's got such a retail presence. They will sell products that have Walmart services on it. On top of it, if they're going to integrate Vudu into Walmart, I think it's only a matter of time for that Vudu brand is gone. You're just going to see Walmart Video. Because
Right.
Walmart's tried the video game before. They tried to do a Netflix-style subscription-based thing, and they eventually they got crushed, and they actually started referring people to Netflix. So now they actually have a serious chance to make some inroads in there. I mean, they don't have a subscription service. This is simply on demand. But I've heard on many other podcasts that Vudu's HD is still like the best HD you can get. It's
That
better
was
than
their
iTunes.
deal when they first came along. They sold a box. They started kind of like Roku. It's like they sold a Vudu box, and you couldn't get the videos any other way at that time. But it was so compelling because it was just looked so good.
I mean, it's again, they have such a retail presence. You're going to see them. You're going to see Vudu devices everywhere. Or they actually already are in Walmart everywhere.
Now,
So-
here's the interesting part. Right now, because Vudu is not nearly as successful as Netflix, they don't have an issue with the 28 days later thing. In other words, they can have their movies available the same day that a DVD comes out. The way Blockbuster did as well, because Blockbuster didn't run afoul of the movie industry the way
Right.
Netflix did. But if Walmart puts this in, they're going to get successful enough that the movie industry is going to start chafing and go, wait a minute, I don't know if we want to allow this. But at the same time, it's Walmart. And Walmart's like, well, then we won't sell your
They
DVDs
got
in the
some
store.
negotiating power right
Yeah,
there.
they got
Like,
some leverage there.
Forget the DVD. No one's going to buy it because it's not in Walmart.
Walmart might break that issue. That
Break it what?
they may be the ones who kind of get the industry past that sort of thing. Also, in mobile video news, a report from network management vendor Allot Communications came out today with some interesting stats. 22% of all global mobile bandwidth is consumed by people watching YouTube. You know, we always hear this story
Everyone's
about
watching Netflix. That's all we're
on
doing.
wired bandwidth in the
Exactly.
evening. On mobile, everybody's watching YouTube. In fact, it's up from the first half of 2011 to 22% from 17% in the second half of 2010.
Do you think that's because mobile, when you're on a mobile device, YouTube videos work well because they're usually like 15 seconds of that cat falling off the ladder or
Yeah,
that sort of thing? So
that's part of
there's a
it.
lot of volume, but the videos themselves are, for the most part, shorter.
And it's one of the few video services that always works on iOS devices. So you can add in several million iPhones and iPads.
Oh, that's true.
That things like Vimeo and other Flash-based services don't work on.
Yeah, I mean, there also is that YouTube app. I mean, it works fine on browsers right now, but the thing is, YouTube is the name you remember. It's weird. It's only 5 or 6 years old, so like it sounds like it's the venerable YouTube. But I mean, it makes sense. 15-second clips. You're waiting in line. You're like, okay, my friend's in the link. People share those things anyway,
Yeah.
all the time.
Of global mobile video streaming, YouTube now accounts for 52%. Over half of anything you stream, mobile video, is YouTube. Overall, video streaming now accounts for 39% of all mobile traffic. It's what people are doing when they're using their phone. And file sharing is now second to video streaming. File sharing accounts for 25% of that traffic. So all in all, mobile data grew 77% over the past year. A lot of people using that data.
And we thought video on mobile devices was just a passing fad.
Did you?
No.
I was afraid we were going to never get fast enough that we could watch, more than 3 frames a second. I
Well,
mean,
it's funny. We were talking about, you were saying Google, YouTube is just a few years old. I mean, what did it start, 2005? Early 2006?
2006.
Well, it's one of those years. But that was not that long ago, and things were very different then. I mean, imagine watching some sort of a
2005.
high-def YouTube streaming video on your iPhone
Now, in
just a few years ago.
a related study, the Pew Internet and American Life Project put out some just general video stats saying over 3 billion videos viewed online each day on YouTube, 48 hours of footage uploaded to YouTube every minute. So you couldn't possibly watch all the video that's available on YouTube. And I thought this was interesting. Parents are 20 percentage points more likely to have used a video sharing site than non-parents.
Yeah, I could see that. You take a picture of your kid, or you're taking a video of your kid, and you click that little send to YouTube button, and then you share it. You're like, hey, look, everybody, my kid just did something
I
stupid.
take exception to this. I take lots of videos of my cats, and many of those videos are on YouTube as well.
I guess it depends on the
It doesn't
definition
have
of
to be
parents.
just
You know,
parents,
it's not about
Iyaz.
you.
be a
It just said
parent of a
20% more likely. It didn't mean that you won't use it.
All right. I'll stop
We'll
taking everything
find the
so
Pew
personally.
Internet and Sarah Lane's
Pew
Life
Internet,
project and see what
I'm
they
on to
have.
you.
Finally, ousted EMI boss Dr. Douglas C. Merrill. He's now an entrepreneur in Los Angeles, CEO of a couple companies, on the advisory board of a lot of companies, was speaking at the CA Expo in Sydney about his time. He spent about a year as EMI's chief operating officer of new music. And he said, when I was at EMI, it was well known that LimeWire users were the biggest iTunes customers, and that the record industry strategy of suing downloaders is, quote, according to Merrill, like trying to sell soap by throwing dirt on your customers.
That's a good one.
Now, he doesn't work for EMI anymore, and maybe this is why, because he was espousing this view when he did work there. But he left EMI because they said, well, we don't need a digital COO anymore.
And this is back in late
Everything's
2009, so almost 2 years ago.
Everything's become digital.
Well, then
But yeah.
we've recently seen a study, I think it was on Kino.2, where people were just downloading all kinds of files, and it turns out the people that pay the most amount for content legally are downloading like crazy anyway. They're just sampling is the phrase that people want to use for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, a lot of people are thinking, hey, look, if this is of quality, I'll pay money for it. Like, I know I have like some favorite bands, and if I can hear their stuff streaming, I might just pay for it so I always have their music.
You know, it's nice that music gets to learn all these lessons early, like dropping DRM, like not suing their audience, which they're not doing anymore. They're going for these 3 strikes rules instead, try to get somebody else to crack down on people. But they are learning the lessons over time. And I think as people get more familiar with how stuff works on the internet, we're going to see easing off and learning these lessons. If only that would translate to other industries. I don't see it doing that.
Yeah, people don't want to learn from the actual
Video does.
history.
We're different. You know, all the print publications and the bookstores. We're different.
Hopefully in 3 or 4 years they'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, while we let them figure that out, let's do the news feeds. Brian Stelter of the New York Times just posted on Twitter that Fox may restrict Hulu episodes to approved cable and satellite customers for the first 8 days that a video is up. This program would start August 18th. This would be the first time this is applied to Hulu, and interestingly, applied to a broadcast network as well. Thanks to Clint Hartson on Twitter for the tip-off. Wall Street Journal and Deadline.com both have some articles about this up now.
Connecticut's Attorney General wrote Facebook a letter saying the company compromised consumers' rights to privacy by using facial recognition for tagging photos. Facebook met with the AG and has responded by putting ads on Facebook users' homepages, alerting them of the tagging feature and a way to opt out. They don't want to participate. The changes have pleased him, who said in a statement, the Facebook changes will provide greater privacy protection to its users, not only in Connecticut, but across the country.
The great Jepson is pleased. You Send It, a service that helps people send large files to each other, is moving into more cloud services. Today, the company announced that you'll be able to keep files in sync via the cloud if you use its new beta desktop Windows-only app, mobile app, or web app. You Send It is also offering a $15 a month plan that offers unlimited storage amongst other services. The free version of the service will give you 2 gigabytes of space. Looks like Dropbox has some new competition.
Amazon cruised by earnings estimates with better than expected second quarter results as the company said that demand for its Kindle 3G with special offers has been surging. No news on a tablet, but Amazon did say the Kindle 3G with special offers, which was released just a couple weeks ago, has already become the company's best-selling e-reader.
A company called Jumio is trying to reinvent the way you pay for things online. And I know you're like, oh my God, please give me a break. But nah, this one's actually really cool. Instead of having to input your credit card information or swiping with a magnetic strip, you just show your card to your webcam, you know, like my little eyesight in front of my computer here. After showing the front of the card, the shopper will have to input the CVV code, that's the one on the back, via mouse-controlled on-screen keyboard. Jumio patented this technology, so hopefully they also patented a way not to fool the camera with color copies feeding an image to the camera.
There you go. Some news in the patent spat between Apple and HTC. After Apple won a couple of patent rulings with the International Trade Commission, the CFO of HTC, Winston Young, said the company is, quote, we are open to all sorts of solutions as long as the solution and the terms are fair and reasonable. Plenty of sites spun the news as a breakthrough. But this is my next. Nilay Patel summed it up very well on Twitter saying, quote, sigh. HTC has always been able to negotiate a settlement, or has always been willing to negotiate a settlement with Apple. Everyone is always willing to negotiate a settlement.
Yeah, but they said it.
Yes.
That makes it news.
Yeah, for non-lawyers.
They admitted it.
Yeah, sure.
Verizon would like to introduce you to the BlackBerry Bold 9930.
Hi.
Although RIM may not be so excited about that since RIM hasn't officially announced it.
Oh, we should stop.
Verizon has apparently leaked an official video showing off what Verizon says is the thinnest BlackBerry available, with a larger keyboard along with a touchscreen capable of pinch and zoom. The video is over 2 minutes long, so if you want an in-depth look at the 9930, don't thank RIM, thank Verizon.
Oracle says that Google infringed on Oracle's Java patents for the Android operating system. Now, of course, Google denies this, but an interesting tidbit has popped up. A blog post from the CEO of Sun has been dug up, and it was written at the time of Android's release. In the post, Sun CEO Jonathan Schwartz congratulates Google on the announcement of their new Java Linux phone platform, Android. Sun even built developer tools for the platform. The blog post has since been deleted by Oracle, shocker, which now owns Sun and its Java patents. So if Sun was okay with Google's use of Java back then, why is it that Oracle is suing Google? Inquiring attorneys are dying to know.
I want to know.
Iyaz,
I have no
tell
answer to
me.
that.
What are they doing? I'm
We'll
sorry.
find out.
All right.
Hang on.
Okay.
That United Kingdom, they have the best stuff like Tea Time, spelling color with a U, and now UK ISP Virgin Media has begun tests of a 1.5 gigabit per second residential broadband service. That crazy fast speed is available for a very small portion of London. Spec-wise, download speeds reached up to 1.5 gigabits per second. Upload speeds top out at a measly 150 megabits per second, which is crazy.
Is that all?
Yeah, and this technology works via DOCSIS 3.0 and channel bonding, which is used for using more than one network interface on a computer for better throughput.
Hey, maybe that DOCSIS 3.0 technology will help the pond. Who knows? Time now for the randomizer.
Randomizer.
Looks like Microsoft has an interesting idea for heating your home this winter. With a temperature of around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius, that's 104 to 122 Fahrenheit, the exhaust from a rack of cloud servers could be a very cost-effective way of heating your house.
Well, I think our editors know this, and I know this as an editor of video at home. If you have a large enough computer, it can heat your room pretty well.
So here's the idea is that instead of building mega data centers, they just have people install these rack servers in their house as heaters.
But then what happens when there's like a crazy heat wave in most of the country, like there has been for the last month, and you need to use your data center? Then you're just really, really way overheated.
Well, then you have to put in an air conditioner.
Okay.
Because all the data centers
Sounds
are
cost
air
effective.
conditioned. But it's free heating.
That's true. I mean, in the winter,
And
it makes perfect sense.
Think how low latency your connection to the cloud's going to be when it's actually
downstairs.
in your in your basement.
That's true.
I'm liking this.
Server rooms for all.
Well, good luck, Microsoft.
Let's move on to the calendar.
The Motorola Zoom 3G price has fallen. It's fallen down a well of sorts. Jason, what is this?
Repeat.
It's just calendar time. Woo. Okay, so the Zoom 3G price has gotten slashed by about $200. The tablet market is getting crowded, you guys, and so you can reap the rewards if you want a Zoom 3G. Microsoft OneNote for iPhone is no longer US. Starting today, the UK, New Zealand, Ireland, Canada, and Australia are now on board with availability. T-Mobile G2X has finally received Gingerbread today over the air. Have you gotten your update yet? Maybe.
Tasty.
T-Mobile's HTC MyTouch 4G slide is going to slide into home if you wanted to tomorrow, July 7th, for $200 on contract. Do you see what I did there?
Slide,
it was a baseball
and then it's
reference.
coming to your
we're in the
home
baseball
if you
season.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I thought you'd like
Cardinals.
that. I try. 4G LTE Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 is hitting Verizon on July 28th, and it's starting at $529. Sound like the price is right? What do you guys think? Kind of high.
I'll bid under.
I'll bid
Yeah?
$1.
I don't think you're going to get it for $1. Guess who's coming to Toronto on August 3rd? It's really cool.
Amber MacArthur?
Blackberry Fan Night.
Wow.
Maybe Amber will go to Blackberry Fan Night because there's a contest running on Twitter where if you use the hashtag BB7FanNight, it's like the hashtag, until July 28th, you might end up winning a Blackberry OS 7 device. So I don't know if that means we get to see Blackberry OS 7 on August 3rd at
Congratulations,
Fan
you win
Night.
something we can't show you.
The
Yeah.
only people who actually entered were
It's
with
in
two
the mail.
CEOs and 3 COOs of this one Canadian company.
It's weird. It's like, are they going to be on a hillside OS 7? I don't know. It's just, if you go to Fan Night, let us know how it is. And I have a sad little rumor for fans of the Evo 4G and the Epic 4G. They might be end-of-lifed
Already?
in October. So not yet, but maybe soon. Sprint's next blockbuster is on the horizon. We just don't know what it is yet.
Remember, Dan Hess has got a big announcement. Remember?
Where it all becomes clear.
Coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Clear. A phone that's clear. You can see
Maybe
right
that's
through
it.
it.
They're going to use that transparent
Battery technology.
we
And AMOLED.
read about. All right, Daniel writes into our email address, tnt@twit.tv, says, hey, Sarah. Sarah, you listening? Wake up.
I am now. Hi, Daniel.
This may be old news, but I just heard about Fluid Pro. It lets you make apps from web pages. Not sure why that's impressive, but the Pro version does keep a separate set of cookies for each app, so you could have an app launcher just for your TNT Google accounts and another for iPad Today. This way you could have them all open in separate windows with separate cookies instead of incognito or whatever other tricks you're trying to use. Anyway, hope that helps you out.
That does help me out. Actually, TNT and iPad Today both are just regular old Gmail accounts, but our TWiT email is a Google app account, and that's what I run into issues with. So thank you, Daniel. I will try this, and I'll let you know if it works. Try it tonight. All right, next email from James, who says, "Hi, guys. I'll keep it short. I just wanted to pass on the latest episode of This American Life on NPR, which discusses patent wars. I doubt I'm the first to mention this to you, but I just wanted to make sure you knew about it. I highly encourage everyone to take the time and listen." He is certainly not the only person who said this was an
lots of
amazing episode.
Yeah.
Tweets, lots of tweets.
So we'll have the link in our show notes at twit.tv/TNT.
Yeah,
But thanks for the tip-off, everybody.
Sounds like a lot of people were painfully honest about what's really going on with those patent trolls.
Oh, patents. I'll get to listen to it for another hour. Last email from Andrew McDonald. I was reading the hateful reviews of the iOS Kindle app this morning, and almost all of them blame Amazon for the removal of the Kindle Store button. One even said he was switching to iBooks, which is just silly since iBooks is owned by the company that got greedy and wanted the 30% cut from in-app purchases. Amazon lists one of the changes to version 2.8 of the Kindle app as being, this update removes the Kindle Store button from the app. Maybe they should have added because Apple wanted a 30% tax on all book purchases. Or maybe Apple edited that out.
Now, the top two most helpful reviews right now say Apple broke it and Apple did it. So there are some reviews starting to, report the other side of the story. I just can't believe that people are even noticing this.
I mean, if it actually says there's an update and you press that button and there it says, whoa, you're losing a button. It seems a little strange.
But he's right. Not happy. The app just became less appealing. Bad update. New update removes feature. It's just people definitely paid attention.
Kobo's working on a workaround right now with it. They announced an HTML5 version of their application that's coming soon. So I think, what was the other company that did this? Financial Times did the same thing to get around this whole...
Remember when the iPhone launched, Steve Jobs said, well, the web, that's your place for apps. And they didn't even have an app store. Maybe this is the way for Steve Jobs to force them into using HTML5,
which is what he wanted.
Because remember, they've said, we don't make money off the app store. We make money off selling devices. So they probably don't want all the infrastructure of having to run an app store.
They always said it was a break-even proposition.
You guys bought that?
Possibly.
I didn't buy it. I'm like, no. Well, so why do they want everyone's money then?
Yeah, I mean, they do make a lot more money off the devices than the app store. But
yeah.
But
they're still trying to make money off of the app store.
To move people to HTML5 being the whole masterminded thing sounds like somebody who would have a giant circular layer.
Yeah.
In Cupertino.
Which somebody we know is going to have very soon. Hey, we're testing out our new studio, changing things all the time, trying to improve the looks. Thanks for your feedback again, TNT at twit.tv. And we want to point out we're using the new TriCaster 850, which is like having your own giant TV truck shrunk down into a box that we've got downstairs, powering our new HD stream, 24-channel system, everything you need to make a TV show, including virtual sets that are amazing. We can use TriCaster for either desktop or portable production, so we can take the show on the road, just pull it out of the rack, take it with you. It's not heavy at all. You can pack it in a bag and take it along with you. And it lets us broadcast, live stream, project, and record HD video all at the same time. For more about the TriCaster, visit newtech.com. We thank them for the TriCaster 850. Jason, is it making life easier for you, the new TriCaster?
Yeah, it absolutely is, actually. The main thing that I love is that you can hot switch on the program line, and it doesn't have to buffer every single camera that the old TriCaster did after 3 inputs. That might not mean a lot to some of you hearing that, but it means the world to me because it means I can switch faster. So I love it.
Happy Jason is a happy TNT.
Exactly. Our show is only as good as Jason is happy.
That's right.
You just have to remember that.
Now, if only someone would turn on the lights over there.
No, keep him in the dungeon over there. It's so moody. The phantom of the TriCaster.
If you buy some more bricks, we'll be able to afford lights for Jason. Bricks.twit.tv. And also, don't forget our subreddit, technewstoday.reddit.com. Big thanks to Taurus, Enjoy What You Have 83, Cosmic Vibes, Red King 315, Tony W. All new names there submitting stories at our Reddit. We've got 1,544 Tech News Today readers. So go and submit or just vote things up and down at technewstoday.reddit.com.
Thanks, TM204.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. However you consume the show, we're glad to have you along. You can find us on the web, twit.tv/TNT. Email us, tnt@twit.tv, or give us a call, 260-TNT-SHOW. That's the phone number.
But don't prank us.
Yeah, and don't use your hand to call because it doesn't dial.
Unless you're special.
You can just email us an MP3, too. We like that. See you tomorrow.